37 minutes after the hour now, she's been called the Mom Donnie of the West. Self-proclaimed socialist Katie Wilson is Seattle's brand new mayor-elect. But is she a reflection of the Democratic Party's lurch leftward, or is she just the right fit for Seattle right now? We want to bring in Seattle Red talk show host and friend of the program, the great Jason Rantz. I kind of love these segments because I can just say, Jason, you got 2 minutes. Let us have it. But I'm going to tee you up by a little sound here first, my friend. This is Bruce Harrell. He basically said, all right, if this was what you want, we should listen. Listen to this and get your reaction on the other side.
The Wilson administration will have new ideas. They will have a new vision. By winning the election, they have earned that right. We must listen to the young voters.
As a progressive and as a socialist, I believe in good governance. Our government is how we act collectively.
That's an interesting perspective. I always like to say, let's see how the business community reacts after this sort of leadership change. Are you bullish or are you running for the hills, Jason?
Well, businesses certainly seem to be indicating a panic, and I think they're right to panic. This is someone who does not have any experience that you would traditionally look at and say, well, she's qualified to run a city. Now, obviously, as someone who lives in Seattle, works in Seattle, I want this to work. And I do think she's well-intentioned. I just think she's going to be in over her head. She did not run as a socialist the way that Mom Donnie did. She was not owning that category, and a lot of the ideas she were putting out there, I do think were either socialist or maybe adjacent. And so we didn't get the same kind of national attention that a Mom Donnie did. But ultimately, she's going to lean into those policies with a council now that is dramatically different than what it was before this election, meaning we've got more socialists on the Seattle City Council. So she's going to be able to enact her agenda. And I think ultimately she's going to run into two problems. Number one, she's not going to be able to pay for much of what she wants to enact. And number two, she's going to have to increase taxes to do it, which then scares off businesses that right now are very clearly panicked. The ones I'm talking to are panicked.
Yeah, and here's the problem that we've seen over and over. They can move to Bellevue. They can move to other places. They could leave the state altogether if they feel like the tax policies are onerous, to say nothing of the fact that sometimes when these policies are enacted, they may sound good in a college classroom or maybe if you're hanging out with your buddies, but when rubber meets road and real families, and by the way, a lot of Seattle families are struggling right now, you've got to do what you can to encourage investment, Jason. This idea of, hey, we'll give a chicken in every pot. Eventually, as famously has been said, eventually you run out of other people's money.
Yeah, and that's why we're in the position we're currently in. They decided at the council level several years ago to just go all in against Amazon and other big business. They introduced a payroll tax. They basically pushed Amazon to send thousands of dollars to Bellevue, which you just pointed out. And that's what's going to continue to happen. You can say we're going to raise taxes on businesses all you want, but just know they're not going to stay here and take it. A lot of businesses have still chosen to keep their people working remotely because they don't want to bring them into Seattle, where, because of the payroll tax, they would be subject to increased taxes. And the crime crisis is still real. Homelessness is still out of control in the downtown core. We're going to see a continuation of really bad policies. And what's so annoying to me as a taxpayer, as a resident, is that we took 2 steps forward with this last council and this last mayor who was very lazy, but he at least did see some improvements. And we just took 2 steps backwards. That's the unfortunate reality of where we currently find ourselves.
And it's frustrating because I love Seattle. I love the Northwest. I think the summers there are about as beautiful as you can get.
Yep.
And it's discouraging. We'll have to see. Obviously, we'll all watch together. It's either going to be a slow-motion train wreck or it'll be this miraculous thing that nobody would have predicted, certainly not me.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I want to share this. This is Angus King and Pramila Jayapal talking about the shutdown and what the Democrats did and didn't get. Get your reaction on the other side.
The problem was the shutdown wasn't accomplishing either goals, and there was practically, well, there was zero likelihood that it was going to.
I think people understand what a betrayal this is to not be able to go back with a victory.
All right, so that's the real question. On the one hand, they're saying, you betrayed us, Chuck Schumer. You didn't do what you said. On the other hand, a lot of people, frankly, Jason, were really hurting. 40 days, 43 days is a ridiculous amount of time to make a political point. Your thoughts?
So just look at how not just Pramila Jayapal and others on the left are reacting, but just activists, not just lawmakers. They're upset that the shutdown ended. They were calling this a Republican shutdown. They were angry. They were pretending Republicans were responsible. And now that they stopped it, they're saying, oh, I can't believe it. They're just as angry. No, they didn't get anything politically out of this, except I guess now they have to live with a conscious guilty of all the pain and suffering that they caused so many people. They did this for political purposes. It was performative, and they didn't get their return on what it is they just did, and now they're upset about it.
You know what bothers me is, they got paid. A lot of my neighbors didn't get paid. It's like you guys are messing around, and people have real bills that come due, and credit card payments and school tuition payments, and they're messing around here. I'm glad it's over. I think I speak for a lot of Americans who are glad that this is all over. Jason Rantz, thank you for your time this weekend. Good to see you, buddy.
Thanks,
we'll talk soon.
Good to see you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.